The challenge was to find a 6-speed manual transmission that was capable of handling the torque of our supercharged LSA V8, especially because we might throw some modifications on this LSA, boosting the power levels even higher. So we settled on the Tremec T56 Magnum. It's a 6-speed manual, and you'll find it in certain new cars like the ZR1 Corvette and Dodge Viper. It's designed to handle over 700 foot-pounds of torque, provide ultra-fast shifting, and has really beefy internals to live behind high-powered motors. We got our T56 Magnum as part of a package from a company called Modern Driveline, and it's run by a guy named Bruce Couture, who does a really great job of putting together complete packages so that you don't have to worry about piecing all of the individual components together. And the parts that we're talking about are not only the transmission itself, but in some cases a cross member, a clutch, a bell housing, a shifter, if there's going to be a clutch pedal, if the car didn't have a manual transmission to start with, other conversion parts like a hydraulic clutch assembly versus a mechanical clutch fork. Now, lucky for us, this car had a 4-speed manual to start with, so our conversion process wasn't quite as involved, but Bruce and the team at Modern Driveline can help you with the package for your car.
What's important is to really kind of go backwards. You really need to know what size tire you're going to run, because that's going to dictate the circumference. Then it dictates where we're going to go with the rear end ratio, and we work our way forward. So what we do is we calculate between the crank to wheel ratio. That's important. Most people look at it as, well, it's got this first gear, it's got that, because I got the overdrive, so therefore I can put the 410 gears in. What they're forgetting is the first 3 gears. So we want to look at a ratio that is more suitable for street. And just throwing some numbers out, let's say 10 to 11 to 1 crank to wheel is a first gear ratio, with certain assumptions about a 26-inch tall tire as an example.
In our case, we're running some big tires in the back, some Toyo R888 R-compound tires, a 335 width, 30 sidewall, 18-inch wheel. We're going to be running some custom forge line wheels. And using that information, the calculated tire size is 25.9 inches. So Bruce recommended a 373 rear gear for our Currie 9+ rear end. And this way, the car will be, loafing down the highway at highway speeds in overdrive, but we will still be able to enjoy the first, 4 or 5 gears without shifting too fast to get up to speed. The original plan was to use a steel QuickTime bell housing and still utilize the dual disc clutch that came with the LSA engine and stuff that under our '69 Camaro. But our technician Trevor found out that that wasn't going to be an easy task.
So we're working on the loose change '69 Camaro here, and we got the engine setting in the car, the LSA, which has a dual disc clutch on it. That's in the CTSV Cadillac. And we've got the T56 Magnum up here, kind of looking to see what our challenges are going to be in getting this thing in the car. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the dual disc clutch is going to fit in the QuickTime bell housing, and the shifter hole, which we kind of expected, is in the wrong spot.
So after much consideration and research, Trevor determined that perhaps the best way to go was to utilize some of the GM parts that came with the engine. We used the GM dual disc clutch and the aluminum bell housing that came with the engine, which we were able to mate to that T56 Magnum. And we also installed the hydraulic throwout bearing that came from Modern Driveline. And this was able to mate the transmission to the engine, but it still didn't get it in the car. So the next challenge was to make an opening so that the transmission would physically fit in the car.
What we're facing right now is trying to get this 6-speed transmission into the transmission tunnel and drive shaft hump that exists in this '69 Camaro.
When you transplant a different transmission into a car, especially a manual, you want to make sure that the shifter is going to be in the right place.
Most cars of the yesteryear basically had a 4-speed transmission with some type of side shifting external linkage system. All the new transmissions of today are internal to shifted transmissions. They tend to be more towards the center. We have a full line of shifters that will be able to put the shifter off center, whether it needs to go 1 inch left, 1 inch back. We can make it look right through the stock console, so it looks like the car was born with a 5 and 6 speed.
I was thinking eventually I would include patching that, and then we could make our own hole where we wanted it when we decided on how we were going to approach that. but for our sake now is just a matter of getting the transmission up, bolted into place, and where we can get the proper angle for the engine, transmission, and drive shaft. I'm just kind of doing what I need to clear it for now, and then I can from there make the patch a much cleaner, much nicer.
After John finished cutting the big hole in the floor, the transmission and engine physically fit in the car, but it's obviously not finished. So the next steps are to fabricate some patches and do a little more detail work on the crossmember to make it all come together.